I'm Olivia Higgins, and you're watching Playing with Fire, where we cover the hottest topics right now in the investment world. Today, we are with Kelvin Tan from Kelvin Learns Investing. Hi, Kelvin.
Hi, thanks for having me here.
Thank you for coming down. We're so glad to have you. Kelvin, tell me more about yourself.
So, my name is Kelvin. I'm from Kelvin Learns Investing, where I talk about personal finance stuff like stock investing, crypto, savings, basically anything that can make you rich.
Amazing. I love that. So we'd like to figure out today the topic, Gen Z, FIRE, and funds. What's next and why now? So what do you think are the key components for a solid, fresh portfolio?
I think it's more about your risk tolerance. Not everyone has to go for the latest trends like cryptos, Tesla, all kinds of stuff. If you are new to investing, you can just start safe, like robo-advisors, dividends, ETFs, all the boring stuff. And once you are more confident in your skill, then you can start looking into all the latest trends to get the higher returns.
So you're talking about sort of like a diversification element here and kind of going according to your appetite for risk.
So as for diversification, some would say if you diversify, you can reduce your risk. But if you're more concentrated, you can increase your returns. So again, I think it depends what are your preferences. There's no right or wrong answers.
What is your one key advice for someone completely new to this world of investing?
I think when most people come into investing, they see investing as a way to earn money. Right.
So money is the primary driving factor.
But I think there's a very thin difference between investing and gambling. Like gambling is like when you see a stock like AMC, GameStop, going to the moon and you want in on it. So that's gambling. But investing is more about looking into the stock itself, looking at the financials, looking at what's the company's future plans. Then you only make your decision whether it's a good stock or a bad stock. Then one pro tip that I have is you don't have to do the research by yourself, because I think not everyone knows how to read financials. Even right now, I don't even know how to read their financials.
Right.
So a way is to look at other people's research to do your own research. For example, YouTube, you can look at someone who is, maybe you want to invest in Tesla. You can look at someone who is interested in Tesla. He's talking about Tesla non-stop. Then he has way more insights than you. So you can research by looking at his research.
Going in depth into what you're actually looking for.
Right.
So how did you start? Tell me more about yourself. How did you get into investing? What made you even begin doing?
So I started around maybe 2015, 2016. But I wouldn't call it investing. It's more like gambling, because I had additional money to lose.
Right.
And I wanted to earn more money. So I started throwing money into the stock market. And the term for it is called investing like an ape. So
I think this is a really important point, because even if you look at the rise of this new world of investing, right, crypto and all this, I think a lot of the conversation around communities is what is that difference between this gaming or even gambling. So I think it's sort of a cultural phenomenon, would you say?
Yeah, I think there's always the trend that everyone wants to follow the next hot stock
100%.
That can make me rich.
Yeah,
I think the important thing is to not blindly follow this kind of trend.
Yes.
Because I think it especially picked up over the last 2 years. The reason was because the interest rate was so low and everyone had money to gamble. But right now, when interest rate suddenly went up, all these kind of stocks suddenly stopped doing well. So I think it's still back to the basic principle that you should invest in only good stocks and just hold for the long term.
Right. Okay, so going back to Gen Z, is that sort of appetite for risk a personality trait of this group?
I think, okay, that's the term in Hokkien. It's called never die before. Never die before. So the reason this Gen Z, or rather I'm part of them, we are also, we are not so risk averse. It's because we haven't experienced huge losses before. Prolonged losses were like in 2007, where there were long periods of recession. And we think that any stock or any crypto that we throw our money into will definitely go up because everyone is talking about it. That's because we never die before. And
I agree. I think even I myself, I can relate to that because we don't have that much, to risk at the end of the day.
Yeah. So when I see other bloggers, YouTubers who have way more experience than me, they're all telling us to invest safely because investing shouldn't be this easy to make money.
Yes. It takes a lot of research, like you said before.
Right.
And being prepared for what comes next, right? Gen Z FIRE, what does that mean? What does FIRE mean?
So FIRE is just a short form for financial independence, retire early. And I think recently it has picked up steam.
Definitely, on all the community channels.
Yeah, because I think this option is available to us now. As in the past, we can't really, there's not much information available to us. So they can only take the traditional route of working till they retire.
Right.
But right now, since we can get information anywhere as long as you have a computer, it's much easier to invest and to achieve FIRE.
Okay, so going into FIRE, right? The RE, retire early. I'm very interested in this because tying it to Gen Z, our definition of retirement is completely different.
Right.
And it also ties in with freedom. And so what does that mean for this group? Retiring.
So, retiring to me is about freedom. And fun fact, actually all of us have freedom once upon in our life.
Yes.
When we were when we were born, all the way until we graduate.
Yeah.
We don't have to work for money. And somehow we follow our parents and our teachers' advice to go work. And what happens is that we work from 20 years old all the way until 60 years old, our entire lives basically.
Yes.
So retiring early just means that we find a way to stop working and to retire so that we can do the things that we want. So when people think about retiring, they think about old people sitting at kopitiam and drinking kopi or sitting at home and watching MediaCorp all day long.
Yeah.
Which would be boring.
No. Yes.
Because MediaCorp is boring. Okay, no. But to me, retiring is about having the freedom to do the things that we want rather than just staying in the office to work a 9 to 5 all our lives. For example, if you want to travel, you can just go travel.
Just do anything you want.
Yeah.
I saw this quote. I work 9 to 5 to fund my 5 to 11 so that I can work anytime I want, 24/7.
Yeah.
Something like this, right?
Yeah.
So that is, you wouldn't say it's just a Singaporean thing. It's more of a generational, cultural paradigm shift.
Right.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So then my next question is, how does this new movement influence existing movements or existing thoughts about investing? Do you think everyone is jumping on this bandwagon?
So I think when people realize that they can retire early, they are more willing to chase this goal. There's this thing where I saw online, when people are on their deathbeds, the usual regrets are stuff like, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I was able to do the things that I wanted to do. And having the freedom gives you the opportunity to give your life meaning in a way. Because when people ask what's the meaning of life, to me, the meaning of life is just to find meaning in life.
Right, the pursuit of actual meaning, right?
Yeah, so
Interesting.
So and the means achieving this kind of life is the easiest way is by investing your money, because everyone has money, hopefully.
Right.
Yeah, so
doesn't that apply then to why someone might want to invest?
Yeah, I think
depending on their meaning.
That's the reason, at least for me, for investing my money. Yeah.
Okay, I like that a lot. Thanks for sharing. We talked about that, right? We talked about meaning and trying to not just, take the risk and jumping on every bandwagon. But since it's already happening, and with the rapid changes happening in the new world of investing, how can someone best prepare for that?
So, how can someone prepare for
these rapid changes that keep happening? 1 minute this is up, next minute the market crashes, and then another thing comes up, another tweet, another meme. So what's happening?
So there's this Lincoln movie that I watched a while ago. He said that you have a compass. A compass can point you to the north, but it won't tell you of the danger along the way. Like there's chasm. So what you need is a compass and a map. With a map, you will know what is the best way to traverse the path. And to me, right now the easiest way is you go online, look at social medias like YouTube's forums. Then you can gain knowledge through other people.
What's your favorite?
Kelvin Learns Investing. No, just kidding.
Of course.
I mean,
we have a lot of fans out there coming to your channel, especially Singaporeans. And I think you've done quite a lot in terms of being very detailed and technical with some of your content.
I think not only my channel, there are a lot more US YouTubers who have way more subscribers than me, who are way more knowledgeable than me. And not only that, you can go to Reddit, like Investing Forum, Singapore F.I.R.E. Forum. I mean, just learn from others and form your own opinions along the way.
Okay, where are we going right now in terms of investing?
We are going to the moon.
I want to know what Kelvin thinks.
So I think the information is much faster now. Things will happen at a much faster rate. For example, like 2020, we all thought there was a crash, but wow, it recovered almost immediately.
We always think that, don't we?
And I mean, stocks will be more volatile from now on because there are more people trading.
Right.
There are more information traveling at a faster speed.
What about even the idea of skepticism and speculation?
Right.
That's a huge variable as well, no?
So things will move fast, but as long as you stick to the basic principles of buying good stocks, stop investing in dumb stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be
so
right.
What is your definition of that? What is your definition of good? Because there's just so much out there. And even with crypto, it's not just the usual names that we hear. We've also got the altcoins.
Right.
And a lot of emerging ones.
Right.
Where should we look? And I understand we have to do our research, but sometimes it's hard as a new investor or even an existing one to be discerning in this space.
I think for stocks, okay, let's talk about stocks first. For stocks, it's the usual. A stock is just think of a stock as your partner. You like a partner because he can earn money.
That's a really good analogy.
Because he can earn money because he's not a cheating guy. I mean, so in terms of company, he doesn't do scams. He has profit coming in. He has long-term plans for the company. So all this just adds up to a good company.
You really go into the DNA of the person, right? Their personality.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's the simple truth lah. So it's not about like a stock price is going up. So you don't just look at the guy, is he good looking or not?
Right.
You still need to look at his personality, what is his career path, those kind of stuff.
Isn't that similar to the more classic traditional way of investing? And Warren Buffett mentions a lot of this as a way to invest, right? You really have to look at every part of the company, every dimension, and sort of make your decision based on that.
Correct. So it's not just about price and the name. It's way more than that. So that's if you can understand all of this, that will make you a good investor, and it will guarantee you, it will more or less guarantee you to make money over the long term. Yeah. So as for crypto, if you are new to crypto, just start with the basics, like Bitcoin, Ethereum. The top 2 cryptos have the most support globally, and I believe that you won't go wrong with them.
Why is that? Is it because they have particular systems in place and the way they operate differs?
Not really. There are a lot of duplicates out there. So the reason any coin would gain value is because it has a network effect. For example, Bitcoin has many people holding it, many corporations holding it, and even now countries holding it. So that just gives value to Bitcoin. But if you look at any altcoin, there's basically nothing giving value to it other than just hype. And what happens when the hype dies down? The crypto will just go down with it.
I think that sort of volatility
Correct.
is a primary trend or personality of the market at the moment. Right. Okay. So since that's the case, how does one get used to losing?
So here's a story. When I first started, I lost quite a bit of money, maybe around 5k to 10k, which may seem a little bit to you, but to me at that time it was a lot of money because it was like 4 or 5 months of my pay.
Right.
So after I lost that money, I got desensitized to losing money.
Interesting.
So as to your question, how does one get used to losing money? I think you won't get used to losing money. It's like how you won't get used to seeing your characters die in Attack of Titans. So yeah, you won't get used to it. So I think another way.
Revival stage. You just keep coming back.
Yeah. Another way. So a better way to look at it is rather than seeing your losses, is to look at it. This stock is at a discount. Is it still a good stock to buy? For example, maybe your Tesla dropped by 40%. Is Tesla still a good stock? Is Elon Musk still alive? Are they still making more cars? So if so, the stock is a huge discount now. So why not buy more? If you think it's not only Tesla, maybe Palantir.
Several others. Yes.
Palantir dropped by 50%. Is it still a good company? So as long as you've done the research, you will know what to do in that situation. Yeah. So
yeah, I think as an example, Palantir, it's something that I personally have studied, and I think it's also a clear example of how much investment I've made in terms of the research and following like their quarterly reports and the news. So I think that's a good piece of advice for the investors watching. Okay, a key argument in online discussions is that change is coming, no matter whether you like it or not. What do you think?
It's like in Game of Thrones, winter is coming, whether you like it or not.
Is that one of your favorites?
And I think everyone wants to get rich. Everyone wants to what big.
They want something fast.
Yeah. And if you are not part of it, have fun staying poor. Yeah.
So you're saying that people should at least try.
You can. So there's a quote by Elon Musk. You have to always assume that you are wrong in a way, and your goal is to be less wrong. So that's how my channel name came about, Kelvin Learns Investing. I'm always looking back at my investment style and see how I can further improve it, because there's always something to improve as new thing comes along. So change is coming. If you want to adopt it, great. If you don't want to adopt it, I think it's fine too, because sticking to the basics is still a key part of investing. As in, you have to invest in good stuff, all this kind of thing. If you are more risk tolerant, you can go and look for newer stuff, but still stick to the basics. Yeah.
I like this point about risk. Are you a risk taker?
Yeah. More than almost 80% of my portfolio is in Tesla, and I think there's a huge risk. So risk basically just comes from people. Warren Buffett says that risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. So driving a car, even leaving your house is a risk because you can just get banged by a car. But if you know what you're doing, you look carefully, see if any cars are coming before you cross the road, then your risk would decrease substantially. So that's the same for investing. People think that Tesla is risky because the stock is volatile. But if you look at the business itself, it's way more advanced than any other car companies right now. Yeah, so that applies the same for cryptos also. People say that Bitcoin is volatile, hence it's risky. But if you look at the people holding Bitcoin, they're holding it for the long term, and that's why I feel the risk to me is lower. Yeah.
Okay. I think going back to, extending from the risk point and going back to investing styles and sort of what sort of portfolio you should have, what are your thoughts on funds, for example?
What kind of portfolio should have? It depends on your risk tolerance, right? So there's this very popular strategy called the core satellite strategy, where you want a huge part of your portfolio in the core component. So those are the more defensive kind of stock that you are more confident in, like Google, Apple, those kind of stock. So you are sure that they will do well over the long term, but they won't give you higher returns because of how safe they are. So
yeah, exactly.
Maybe then you can allocate a higher percentage to those, like 80%. Then if you want to take risk, you want to try to go to the moon, just allocate like 20%, a small part of your portfolio to try to take the risk. Even if that part just goes to zero, you're still alright because you have the larger part of a portfolio carrying the entire thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of like funds, or at least the seemingly more stable, I guess, ways, what are your favorites? Going away from just the risk taker vibe, like I think we should go more for those who are more risk adverse. What would you advise them to do?
So for funds, if you want a good fund, just go for like S&P 500, those kind of ETF. You're betting that the
ETFs.
entire...
I think that's
ETFs.
It's a key point, and I think it's quite popular as well with for example, the new economy, right? So you're talking about like EVs, and then even just the concepts amongst future mobility, and even the tech side of things. So I think it's a hot discussion at the moment. What are your thoughts on ETFs?
I think it's good. Like even Warren Buffett himself believes in ETFs so much that he asks people to invest 90% of his wealth in ETFs.
90%?
In specifically S&P 500. That's how much he believes in it. And I think it's true because you are not just betting on one company, you are betting on the US itself. And the US, it should do well over the long term because of how the company there are also eager for success. And it will translate to the S&P 500 going up over the long term. So, that's your safest bet. If you want even higher returns, you can look into specific sectors like EV sectors that you mentioned, technology sectors.
And even just like concepts that are perhaps in the near future, or even like quantum computing, which, there's a lot of hype about it, but it is quite a fair bit away in terms of
so for those kind of companies, we will know who are the winners, but we know that the industry is coming up.
Yes.
So in that case, the ETFs would make a lot of sense investing in it. Like even for metaverse, we will know that it's coming either way. But we won't know who are the winners. So an easy way is just investing in the entire industry and through an ETF.
And it is a race at the moment. Just like when we had the emergence of the vaccines, right? There was this competitive race towards who would win and who would get it out fastest. I think now it's gone and transitioned into like metaverse and this new virtual reality space.
Right.
Yeah,
that's how fast things move nowadays.
Right. Okay, so I guess I have one last question about you. And you mentioned a bit about your background. You know, you were like, okay, I first started and approached investing like gambling or even just gaming, right? You were a gamer, right?
I was a gamer and I was also a game programmer.
That is so cool. Okay, so you kind of had this approach to investing, right? And it's kind of tied to your personality. So, you know, Kelvin Learns Investing was started for Singaporeans.
Not really. I wanted to target the entire world.
Okay.
But no one wants to listen.
They are listening. They are.
So I started speaking to more Singaporeans first and slowly
building
expand.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. And why? Why did you start it? Is it because you learned from your lesson and you wanted to impart this knowledge?
Traditionally, I'm a person who likes to save money. And I like to share what I know about saving money. So I tried sharing it to a few friends and they were not interested to listen. like why do you want to tell me about this bank account that gives me 1%?
You need new friends, Kelvin.
I don't need that. So after a while, I got sick of sharing things to people who don't want to listen.
Right, who don't want to listen.
So I just went my frustration into YouTube. So to see who else wants to listen. So that's how I started in the first place because I was frustrated.
Right, you wanted to just get that knowledge out of there. It's like catharsis for you. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Okay, so now my favorite part of today, we've got some key questions from the community. And people would like to know about you, Kelvin, and your personal habits going forward. So the first question, related to FIRE. How can I best achieve FIRE?
I think think of yourself as a business. So if you're in a business, you want to save money effectively. You want to earn money as much as you can. So in terms of earning money, maybe you can look at, jumping into different careers every 3-4 years instead of sticking at the same company. Because one can only learn so much in the same company. So the more you jump, the more value you can provide, and hence the more money that you can earn. Right. And with more money, just throw it into investing because otherwise your money is just sitting there doing nothing. So on the other side of earning more money, you have saving. So look at how you can use your money more efficiently. Like instead of taking Grab car all day long, take the public transport.
Oh no, I'm guilty.
Or even if you are spending money, just spend it through a credit card, stuff like that. Because it gives you more discounts, right?
Yes.
Like some people I know don't even want to use a credit card because that thing is risky. Because it gives them more money to use and hence it will give them turn them into
like a perception or
so you have
misguidance.
To just get used to using credit cards because that's what people use to save money. So so basically just two areas how to earn more money and how to save more money.
Okay. Has the COVID pandemic sort of amplified this?
I think people are saving more money nowadays, and some people who have more money will look to investing to earn more money, right? But overall, I think the risk-taking part, it just brings up that part in them. Some people don't like to take risks, some people like to take risks. So I think it depends person to person.
Okay, the last question. Someone wants to know, what would Kelvin do and what is he looking forward for 2022?
So right now, my portfolio consists of a lot of Tesla. Too much Tesla.
And, you mentioned it was 80%?
80, I think, around there.
Wow.
So the other parts are also all very speculative stuff.
I see.
And for this year, I plan to clean it up. and start investing in more sensible stuff like Apple.
What do you mean by that? So if you don't mind sharing.
So for example, I was investing in Arcade because I think that Katie Woods is a good investor.
But you do think it's speculative?
I think it's for the long term it's still alright. Her investing style is still good. It's just that my portfolio is on the 1 to 10 risk ratio is very high risk, and I want to bring it lower.
Okay.
Yeah. So investing, back to the core satellite portfolio strategy. So I just want not entire part of my portfolio trying to go to the moon. Just some of it is alright. So I will try to rebalance it into a safer stocks. Then also at the same time, I will look into more crypto stuff, because crypto is not just about price, about Bitcoin, Dogecoin, those kind of stuff. There are more deeper stuff to it, like the DeFi space, play to earn games. So I will look more into this kind of space.
Okay. Thank you for sharing, Kelvin. Any last thoughts for our audience watching?
So I think whether it's investing or gambling, just stick to the basics, like investing in good stocks over the long term, and I think you will do alright. So investing, good.
I love that. Thank you so much, Kelvin, for joining us on the show.
Thanks.
And we look forward to having you again.
Yeah, I look forward to coming here again.
Yay! All right, so what would you like to know from Kelvin, and what was your favorite point about Gen Z and the FIRE movement? Leave your comment down below because I would love to know what you think. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment to be part of the discussion. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us for Playing with Fire. I'm Olivia Higgins. Bye.
Bye.